can I increase research capabilities? I mean, we're working on it. Academic base is one that's going up, and then more importantly, the outdated research facilities is actually going to be modern soon. Actually, pretty soon. 6 more points. Monthly rate of 9. We're going to hit it next month. Japanese investment arrives. The news for Japanese investment has been hastily sent to the kingdom, soon to be followed by the tools of the Zaibatsu. Royals, politicians and mine owners together shared in their ready anticipation of the riches that would soon follow. They could barely wait for their land to be made rich from the foreign investment. Fortunately for them, they did not have to suffer their impatience for long. Various giant metal machines were carried across the Siberian plains until they were installed and left to stand, unmoving, to churn at the earth beneath them and uncover its hidden riches. In time, all that would remain of such brutal efficiency would be a scarred and empty land. However, these thoughts were not present for those in power. They knew that this wealth was needed to better the lives of the king's subjects. Besides, it would be more practical for them to accept Japan's assistance, as there were still more benefits that could be made from keeping them close. For now, there is profit to be made. And we did indeed get infrastructure, civilian factory, and a building slot. Cool. This might actually be some legitimacy if we met with the Emperor. Relations between Rurik II's realm and the Japanese have never been higher, and the king has decided the time has come to graciously reciprocate the good that their investments have done for his people. In a speech later that month, Rurik II plans to make a special celebration of the brotherhood between him and the Japanese Emperor Hirohito. The declaration will more than solidify the strong ties we have built with the sphere. It will show to the world that the time has come when the continent of Asia is dominated between two great monarchs of equal importance and stature, Hirohito of Japan and Rurik of Russia. We have no doubt the Japanese will be flattered by His Majesty's declaration. This is going to backfire so hard. This is going to backfire so hard. Whenever I miss an hour or so of these streams, I feel like I'm coming back to a TV series after missing several episodes. Better agricultural methods. Done. Without food, men may not work, and without work, government ceases to exist. The bureaucracy that sustained it evaporating in a matter of weeks. However, the inverse is also true. With more food comes more plenty and the formation of ever more complex states. After all, we're not the first states formed after the creation of agriculture. New agricultural innovations will reduce the amount of hard labour needed in the fields and shift the workload to mechanised equipment like tractors and automated harvesters. Advances in fertiliser allows crops to grow quicker and cheaper. Man will have food, and it will be plenty. Population grows much quicker. We get the recruitable population. We get consumer goods factories reduction, factory output and dockyard output. And in fact, this basically counters the penalties from the trade unions. And we have another decision. Import heavy machinery, yes please. Boop. I think we're only 3 billion behind now. Still 9.4% growth. What more do you want from me? I'm going as fast as I can. 23 days until mass... hang on. Oh no, it's military construction that I need to get finished. That's still 100 days away. Oof. The Republic of Ovnabod declared war on the Republic of Namibia. So Africa is really going crazy. So I'm guessing Lydia lost and wandered off. Yeah, we don't know what happened to Lydia. A letter to Japan. Following the request of his foreign minister to send an official message of friendship to the Emperor of Japan, such a letter would help strengthen the bond between the two monarchs and open up a wide range of cooperation in the future. Or so he had been told. His court members had attempted to hijack the writing of the declaration for themselves. However, he had remained steadfast and made sure that all of the work was genuine. He thought it better to keep it more authentic than diplomatic. Rurik found the start of his writing the hardest. He had no idea where to begin, let alone how to conclude the damned thing. Yet as the night went on and the bottle on his desk got emptier, he realised the words flowed with his pen with ease. By the time he had scrawled his name onto the bottom of the page, he was quietly impressed with the efforts. Such length and such style could only have been a work of his genius. He did not bother to reanalyse what he wrote. Instead, he had it sealed and sent off right away. Baranovsky was quite taken aback once he'd learned the news the king had sent the declaration without first requesting him read it over. He might have complained, but he knew better than to question his Royal Highness's judgment. The Foreign Secretary knew that all he could do was hope. This is going to end so badly. Oh, this is going to be terrible. All right, let's go to the Americans then. Our envoys in the United States have been making a great deal of progress enduring them to our existence. We have noted that the Americans have been quite receptive to their diplomatic efforts. It's not hard to see why, although the Principality still has lingering Soviet influence throughout its policies. We still outwardly defy both the communists and the fascists, and thus more appealing for a potential target for US support. The Royal Diplomatic Office is to instruct the envoys in Washington to begin opening talks with the aim of establishing an embassy of our own on US soil. Once they have accomplished this, they will have essentially opened the door to mutually beneficial trade deals with what remains of the free world. Declaration of war from Menjiang coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That had me very concerned, because that was perfectly timed. Do I still want to decompress the military austerity? Yes, I think I do. We need to keep the economy growing faster than the deficit. Alright, new technology. That's all finished. No, it's not. We still get the 1965 one. Factory output, 12%. Oof. That's a lot. The first industrial robotics patents were granted in the late 1950s and the early 1960s and work simply to transfer objects. However, these early prototypes are the foundation for much more productive advances down the line. Oh yeah, Russian robotics. Get in. Oh, are we at 10.10? We're at 10.10! Yes! Our growth is through the roof. Now please don't let there be a global market crash. We need this unbridled growth to continue. This is the downside to my plan. It's like if there is a global crash, then we are screwed. "90 more days of military construction." Okay. We still... Actually, we have quite a lot of stuff still queued up. Yeah, the deficit is 5.7 billion. Yeah, it's increasing. Probably because of the interest. Well, clearly we need more worker training. Spend more money. That's what we're lacking. Are there options to default on the debt like in real life? I wouldn't want to. Like, our interest is already improving. It's gone from 12% to 8%. So we just need to keep things growing. Peter Baranovsky found himself hard at work on his desk, labouring well into the night. The new foreign minister was so consumed with his work that he initially failed to notice that a figure shuffled into his office. Peter pulled his attention away from the paperwork and towards his guest. He immediately recognised the exhausted man as one of his ambassadors. "Ah, Yevgeny! I apologise. I was so busy I didn't see you there. My vision must be getting worse with age. How was your trip to the States?" "It was incredible, Piotr. You should have seen the wonders they have there. You wouldn't believe it unless you saw it. They make these brightly lit buildings you could drive right up to and order the most amazing of meals, almost like a giant food stall. I could hardly..." Yes, but what I was actually wondering was how your meeting with the Americans went." "Oh, of course. The Americans honoured to establish formal diplomatic relations with the realm as soon as possible. As we speak, my people are working out the details in Washington over our new embassy." "Excellent work, Yevgeny. His Majesty will be pleased, no doubt. Peter didn't show it, but the success of the mission had caused him a great elation. He wasn't so sure in the past, but the old architect was beginning to think that perhaps he had a real talent for diplomacy's cutthroat games after all. Now please tell me more of the wonders you saw in America." The almighty dollar. Now that open trade relations have been established with the OFN, we can begin to reap the rewards. Our envoys in Washington, now firm partners with the Americans, will begin to make requests for the US investments in Central Siberia. Our attempts at expanding the realm's infrastructure have been going at a slower pace than the King would like, and he hopes the American aid will help tremendously towards getting the ball rolling. On top of giving our construction projects some much-needed relief, these investments will continue to build good relations between Rurik and the United States. The Americans have to be made to understand that working with the King will be within the best interest of both nations. What's the OFN? It's NATO for this world. I don't remember exactly what it means, but it's basically NATO. Get me my pen and vodka. I need to write to the president. Oh, that's so Rurik. That is so Rurik. Alright, so my Streltsy unit is almost done. I think I probably want a couple more shield maidens. 2 more. I just don't have the manpower for more. It's a little bit alarming. Nope. Music's gone again. Nuke atmosphere. It's a great idea just having silence, but doesn't make for a good stream. Who's the current president? Bennett. Still Bennett. We have a surplus of tanks. We're actually replacing the old ones now. Sweet! 1010. 5.72 billion. Yeah, deficit's going up. I think it's because the way the what's it called? Interest rates are going up. So I think what we're reaching is, once our civilian industry has reached its pinnacle, I'm going to reduce the construction budget and start making a surplus. Like, our industry has exploded in size, but once this is kind of stabilized, I think we'll be good. Death of Emperor Aizen Gyoro Puyi. The Emperor of Manchuria, Aizen Gyoro Puyi, has passed away due to an undisclosed medical condition. Despite the aforementioned medical condition being fatal, Puyi is not known to have been in hospital, where his death instead passing away in his quarters. The death of Puyi has brought sorrow across the Daitoa Koyo-ken, though the people of Manchuria have been, from all reports, ambivalent to the apathetic concerning the news. Puyi's funeral was attended by political and social leaders from all across Asia, most notably the Emperor of Japan, Hirohito, despite health concerns over the long flights to and from Manchuria. His body was buried at the Northern Qing tombs in a section called the Tomb of the Peaceful. Puyi's successor, Puyi, has already shown himself to be more proactive and enthusiastic than his predecessor, though it is not a high bar. A name lost to the history books. Ouch. He choked with laughter when he read Rurik's drunken letter. No, I don't want to do civilian austerity. That compresses all of the reconstruction efforts. I'd much rather reduce the construction, because that's something we can bump up again. Or maybe do both at the same time, possibly. Also, I was reading about Rurik, Nikolai Krylov. Interesting character. His wiki page is possibly the shortest wiki page I've ever read, and yet he's just got like half a page of just medals. He was at Stalingrad, he was at Sevastopol, he was at Königsberg. Like, he was probably one of the more decorated Soviet commanders, but nothing is known about him. Let me just find his page again. That's not him. I guess he got on the wrong side of Stalin. No, he didn't. That's the thing. He was in charge of all of the Soviet Union's ground-based nuclear missiles between like 1963 and 1970 something. I'd wager there's more on the Russian page. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, there it is. That's the one. Commander of the Strategic Missile Troops from 63 to 72. And another interesting fact, which I didn't know about, Sevastopol had more bombs dropped on it during the siege of Sevastopol than Berlin or London. There were only a grand total of 11 buildings still standing there when Stalin called for the withdrawal. And you know things are bad when Stalin tells you to withdraw. And yeah, he was in charge with Chukov for the defense of Sevastopol and Stalingrad. So he was a pretty important commander, just little is known about him. Can we get nukes as the Rus? Yes, we can. I mean, I don't know how, but one of the things you can do is get a nuclear stockpile. So it's probably later in the focus. It might not necessarily be something in the scope of this focus. Bearing in mind that this is supposed to last from 1960s to the 1990s, this only really goes from 1960 to like 1970 with this version. Looking at the Russian page right now, it's like 20 times larger. Well, there you go. Okay, we're going to invite the American experts. Although our workforce is well on the road to becoming quite capable on its own terms, it wouldn't hurt to have them hurt to help them along. America has long been renowned for its industrial prowess, and their experts are masters of their craft. It is fortunate, then, that His Majesty's diplomatic efforts in Washington have resulted in strong ties with the United States, which opens several interesting avenues that were previously unavailable to us. We can use our influence abroad to send invitations to various American specialists in the field of industry and economics, to advise our workers and improve the overall productivity throughout the realm. With their invaluable assistance, Central Siberia can once again become the industrial backbone of Russia. The Americans agree to invest. Good news, everyone! Our diplomatic efforts in Washington have borne fruit, and the Americans wisely decided to make a significant financial investment in Central Siberia. Already, we're seeing various businesses from the US taking an interest in our realm, contacting our foreign office to work out the details of setting up shop in our humble kingdom. American aid will obviously be a shot in the arm for our young economy needs, but most importantly, this is a good step on the road to building firmer relations with the United States. We can only hope that this is a good sign of things to come. Kemerovo got the upgrade. The infrastructure is wasted, but the civilian factory certainly isn't. And the building slot, most importantly. Invest in scientific research, yes please. Alright, 40 days, and then I'm going to drop the construction speed, because this will also have finished at that time. Alright, so that was the last civilian factory I think I wanted to build. So we're going to build military factories in these three. And I'm also going to go to the economy tab. Oh! That actually cost me all of my political power. Interesting. France goes into isolation. The French have had enough. Surrounded by ambitious nations with metaphorical knife behind their backs, the French have taken the third option available to them. That option? Cut ties with their neighbours. Not even the most skilled geopolitical analysts could have foreseen France's isolating themselves. It seemed foolish, reckless even, and yet they've done it, to the surprise of Italy and Germany. No one's really sure what either nation is going to do, but the foreseeable future, France is a master of its own destiny. Unexpected shake-up for the players of the game. Did I do civvies? Oh, I did. Alright, well I guess we'll build one more there then. There we go. Guns! And we're going to... No, we need this one. 25 political power required. Deficit's 5.73 billion. Yeah, the deficit's still growing. Probably because the civilian spending is still growing because we have a lot of civilian factories. That's what my assumption is. And military spending is about to start growing too. Streltsy ready. Deploy. New. Join Boris. And then start training. And we have even more planes. Interesting. Well, in that case, I'm going to say let's get another 100 planes. And I think I'm even going to start a fourth wing here. There. Invite American exports. Done. Experts, not exports. Friends in the steppe. As other neighbours, the Kazakhs found themselves in a very similar predicament following the disastrous collapse of the Soviet Union. The nation found itself divided amongst the petty warlords, each fighting its own vision for the ideal Kazakh state, and the conflicts were as frequent as they were bloody. Recently, however, the situation has turned around dramatically. Kazakhstan has been unified under a single government once more, and the divisions that plagued the Kazakh steppes now seem to have healed for the time being. Now would be a perfect time for the king's ambassadors to reach out to the Kazakh government to see if their leaders are willing to open relations, assuming the government is willing to entertain such an idea in the first place. Wouldn't hurt to ask. And Kazakh are a democracy, so they should do. If the USA says yes, Kazakh should say yes. America sends the experts. Optimistic news has arrived from Washington today. Our request for support in the form of skilled industrial experts has not gone unanswered, unlike my letter to Japan. The Americans have agreed to send some of their best available industrial minds to aid with our industrialization efforts. They'll be arriving in central Siberia shortly, and we expect that they'll be looking for work almost immediately. There is another significant milestone in our efforts to maintain strong relations with the United States. If they are willing to send some of their own people to aid with the development of our humble kingdom, who knows what kind of deals they'll be open to in the future. Very good. So how is our growth going? We're not too far off upgrading our research, so we'll go from outdated to modern. That'll lose the research penalty. And we're also about to reduce the poverty rate. Like 3 more months. So February 68. Oh, that'll be great. And we can reduce the construction. So this is cutting the deficit from 5.7 billion to 5.2. Okay, that's less than I was hoping. We may well need to cut the construction budget by a fair amount. But we're completely unfettered in terms of production speed now, so hopefully this can make it work. What does the next poverty level mean? Oh, it's a big deal. So we go from 50 to 80 to 25 to 50. Stability goes up, war support goes up, recruitable population goes up, factory output goes up by 5%, so does dockyard, construction speed by 5%, monthly population actually goes down. Or population growth, rather. Research speed goes up. The biggest one, though, is the taxable population factor. It goes from 50% to 70%. And then the income rate factor goes from 15 to 35, so it just means more taxes coming in as more people reach taxable income. Particularly because we have weighted low taxation. So if there are less people in poverty, they pay more taxes. And I have a feeling that that could actually be a really big deal for us. Military Construction 3, finished. And with that, our industry is now set to roar ahead. Although we do have a 50% bonus to go ahead of time if we wanted to. But I don't think I want to. We are using our... No, you know what? We want to upgrade our tanks. Soft attack, hard attack, piercing. Or breakthrough and armor. Let's do the breakthrough and armor so we don't have the replacements to do. It has been demonstrated that a thin layer of enamel will improve the ballistic properties of steel. We shall test this out and begin looking for ways to expand on this concept. The Siberian giant awakens. Yeah, it does. 76 factories now. How's that compare to my neighbours? They've got 43. And then the West Siberian Republic is 61. They've actually got quite a few. More than I expected. And their army is 27 divisions. So our army is only just bigger than theirs. And our production is unfortunately going to slow down a bit now. As we have to drop the construction budget. To try and get over the deficit. Pay off these debts. Start earning a better income. Matai overthrown by Arab administrators. With chaotic events unfolding in Italy, the Italian governor of the Gulf, Enrico Matai, has had to rely on native Arabian administrators to hold the colony together, and to avoid the chaos which consumed other nations. It seems, however, the plan of local management has ended in his demise, as administrators led by the Abdul Rahman al-Bakir and his Secretary of National Union Committee have overthrown him and proclaimed the United Republic of the Arabian Gulf. Being an important colony, most notably for its plentiful oil, will have a great effect on the already crippled Empire of Italy as it continues to lose its grip. Ironic you could not save the nation from death, but not from other stuff. That was these guys, I think. Yeah. The oil barons. Reichskommissar Caucasian declared war on legionary Georgia, so the Caucasus have just exploded. And we've got jets. The Great Caucasian Revolt. For decades, the native peoples of the Caucasus have languished under Nazi rule. They have toiled in mines, pumped oil, and laboured in factories in the demand of their German overlords, while they were given scraps and worked to the bone. No more, it seems. Although the Reichskommissar Josias has been deposed by the relatively moderate Paul Flieger, the new administration did little to improve the natives' lives, and equally unable to keep the tensions from boiling over. Numerous native rebel groups have taken the opportunity to rise up, hoping to secure independence from their tyrants. It is beyond question that these rebels are proud patriots who despise foreign imperialism. Whether they will succeed or join history's long line of failed Caucasian rebellions, however, is another question entirely. Who did the West Siberian Republic begin as? That I don't remember.
Raiding party!
Hey, Evil Snowball, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome to the stream. How was yours? Making the latest tanks, but it looks like the improvement you did for the old version. You might want to take a look. I think it's just armor upgrade. It doesn't affect. It doesn't matter which type. It's just armor. It's not for a. It's not a variant. Okay, we got a research done. That was, I want to say an industry. No, it was it aircraft? Might have been aircraft. Yes, jet engine. So we can get the 1950 fighters. We can finally get MiGs, and then we'll also research the MiG-21s. So MiG-15 first of all. The jet fighter has revolutionised aerial warfare, fast, agile, and heavily armed. These planes are able to shred bombers in seconds, so their fuel efficiently leaves room to be desired. And there is much room for improvement. One cannot deny the effect these planes will have on warfare. Guessing your range has increased as well. Oh yeah, massive increase. More expensive too. Resources are the same though. Uses more fuel, much quicker. Much better agility. Yeah, that's a big upgrade. Do it. Do it now. We're still waiting for more political power to come through so I can keep dropping the construction rate. Friends in the steppes. In the halls of glory. It took a great deal of effort on the part of His Majesty's diplomatic corps, but it looks like their efforts have paid off in the end. Although many retain a certain degree of scepticism, our state is finally beginning to be taken seriously as a potential contender to Russian reunification, and our presence has at least nominally been recognised by much of the world's nations. Trade with the outside world is flourishing for the first time in decades, and Central Siberia is quickly becoming a hub for international commerce, as more foreign businesses seek to make more lucrative investments in their king's bountiful realm. Our first steps into the world have so far been a success, and the future of the Principality is looking bright indeed. Are we actually selling anything? Because we have so many resources. Nope. Oh no, we're selling oil to Japan. Okay. I'm okay with this. Our ambassadors return. After a seemingly endless journey into the heart of Kazakhstan, says the Siberian, ambassadors have returned and they've come with good news. The government of Kazakhstan was as friendly as we first believed. As a result, a strong, fruitful and hopefully long-lasting connection has been made with them. Pyotr Baranovsky was pleased to hear this, as he knew that having an ally at such close proximity could only benefit them in their near future endeavours. Diplomatic relations with the Kazakh government would certainly lessen the amount of bloodshed in the future, would also help to bring greater prosperity in peacetime with future cooperation now available that would enrich both sides. The Foreign Secretary was pleased with his ambassador's success and felt greatly relieved that there was one less potential enemy the kingdom would have to worry about. Good stuff.